The Garden Report is powered by Prize Picks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to a practice edition of the Garden Report. Celtics have to wait another day to figure out their second round opponent. But it's another day here at practice for Kristaps Porzingis to rehab.
He's back in the building.
And we got to talk to him today. Here is Kristaps Porzingis talking about how long he's going to be out, how quickly he hopes to return.
It's something. It's not nothing, you know. So it will take a little bit of time for sure. I'm doing everything I can to speed it up because I want to be back out there as soon as possible. But understanding that it's the worst thing would be probably to re-aggravate that, So being smart and you would have to ask the medical people about the specifics of it. I'm kind of just following the plan, but hoping for a return as soon as I start to get better. So. Working.
Yeah, historic rate. I mean, that's the line I feel like Celtics fans are going to hold Kristaps to. But I think realistically it's going to take some time. But I think he's optimistic because of what historically this type of injury takes. Everyone's looking at Giannis and how long he's been out. And I'm glad that Giannis wasn't mentioned here because everyone's different. We're not quite sure if he's going to respond the exact same as what happened to Giannis. So I think Kristaps is he's in good spirits. I think that's genuine when he says that. And I think he's looking at this thing in a positive light, knowing that this Celtics team is built for a championship, run, a run to the NBA Finals, and hopefully he's a part of this run sooner rather than later.
Luke Kornet talked today as well. Loved the way he filled in last game in the reserve role. Effective defense against Bam Adebayo as well. He's obviously going to be a guy they rely on. Kristaps was saying he's trying to stay in these guys' ears, stay involved with these guys as well. Al Horford, of course, going to be the staple in the next series, and that series is going to begin on Tuesday. And I said this after the Magic loss last night, Josue. It's interesting. You get extra time going into the series now, but you get no time off once the series begins. So it's an interesting trade-off. And obviously, as everyone said to me online,
yeah, I saw
Magic
that.
and Cavs have to deal with that too, and they're coming off the Game 7, which is 1 day off. But just from a Celtics perspective, you have Al Horford, who doesn't have the extended rest between these games now. You have Luke Kornet and Tillman. Are they going to be consistent game to game? You're going to have to rely more on Horford in all probability here. And now that this series is beginning on Tuesday and it's 1 day off, 1 day on, it's going to put a load on Horford here, and he's going to have to be able to sustain that. Luckily, he held up well during the year and didn't play a ton during the year. So there's obviously differences compared to last year. But I think it's something to watch going into next round, just how condensed the series is going to be compared to round one.
Yeah, but I think that's why you give him that rest throughout the course of the regular season, right? I mean, obviously, this is another deep playoff run for the Celtics. Al Horford obviously needed those type of not to play in the second end of back-to-backs because of this. So I think his body and he's equipped for this type of extra minutes. I don't think his role changes a whole lot. I know he talked about that after practice on Friday, and I think that's true. I think other guys off the bench, like you mentioned, Luke Kornet, those guys, Tillman possibly, their role changes a bit, and I like that he mentioned Kata as well. I mean, who knows? If there's an opportunity for him to get in there, grab some extra rebounds, give these guys extra second chance opportunities, I think that's something that he's going to earn, So it's going to be interesting to see what Joe Mazzulla does. He doesn't really tweak his rotations a whole lot during the postseason, but when Al Horford talked about other guys stepping up, I think that's a part that it's going to be a bigger part of this than we expect. I do think Al Horford's minutes will go up a little bit, but in terms of his overall usage, I don't think it's going to be a humongous difference compared to what we've seen throughout the regular season. But again, he's built for this. That's a good point to mention that it's only a day between a lot of these games, or pretty much throughout the entire series, whereas it's not as spread out as the first round was. But I think Al's ready for this. I really do think he's built for this spot right now, especially with the way he's been playing throughout Porzingis' absence in the early go.
Game 1 will be Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We'll find out who the winner is tomorrow at 1 Sunday. Magic.
That's going to be a
Game
great game, Bobby.
In Cleveland.
Yeah,
game 6 was pretty good. Paolo Banchero showed out late, secured and held a late lead, and then Donovan Mitchell's 50-point game fell short of clinching the series last night. Every home team has won in that series so far. Obviously, Cleveland goes into Game 7 as favorites here. Jared Allen's status still up in the air. Dean Wade missing this whole series, so they're banged up. You got Marcus Morris in that starting lineup last night.
Yes.
Who will win Game 7?
Shout out to Moog. Oh man, I'm gonna go with Cleveland. I think it's not gonna be as easy, as other times. But you know what? It might be though. I don't know. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers could go on that type of run in the second half where they create enough distance, and then all of a sudden. So I'm gonna go Cleveland, and if it goes down to the wire, that'll be even more entertaining to see how the Orlando Magic respond. Especially in that spot, because I do think they're ready for a Game 7. They could surprise us. I wouldn't put it past them, but I'm gonna you putting me on the spot right now. I'm going with Cleveland. I think Cleveland pulls it out in Game 7.
The more I thought about it, I think the Magic will squeak it out, and a lot of it, the margins. Looking at those, they've won those in the series so far. I just thought they were awesome in Game 6 too. Gary Harris, his status up in the air now too, and Jonathan Isaac filled in decently for him in the starting lineup in Game 6. As Joe Mazzulla said today, a lot of similarities between these teams. They have scouts ready to go on both of them. Talked about both these teams so far, and on Monday when we're back here at Auerbach Center, it'll be full go to prepare for that second round opponent.
I think that's the tougher opponent though.
Magic?
For the Celtics, yeah.
Just the physicality, Isaac, Suggs, all the way down the line. It's gonna be interesting. Both teams present different challenges. Both very physical defensive teams. So we'll have more on that. Probably a post-game reaction Sunday to whichever team wins here on Sunday night, and after that, we'll be looking into a deep dive on this series. It is Celtics and either the Cavs or Magic round 2. We'll talk to you on Monday here back at the Auerbach Center. He's Josue Pavon on Volume A, and there's been a practice edition of the Garden Report. Hey, Bobby Manning here. If you made it this far, you probably enjoyed this video, so subscribe, turn on notifications, and check out our social media platforms at Celtics CLNS.